Oh. So, yeah. How's it going, Ether? Once again, chilling like a villain. Just like a villain, not actually a villain, because... Speaking of villainry, you know... State tax, right? Yeah! I just completely flipped over that guy. No, not state tax. It goes into programs and stuff like that. It's a good thing.
That was close.
We're gonna frickin' jump some ramps. We're gonna jump some ramps. Yeah. Let's talk about, I don't know. Let's talk about, let's talk about, this topic. What can I get as a topic? I don't know. We'll figure something out. Let's talk about, let's talk about the way that people say they forgive things, or the way that people say that they're like over stuff. I mean, you have to make a mental note for future reference sometimes as far as something goes. And I mean, a lot of times you only do. How's it going, viewer? If you want to message me, you can. What's up, man? How's it going? I am currently exiled, and that is what's happening. Yeah. All right, so dang it.
Citizens report assault with a deadly weapon on Del Perro Freeway in Little Seoul.
Oh my god! That was awesome. Alright, we gotta jump. Damn it. Thought I was gonna hit something, or I was gonna fall on something. and it would break my fall, but it did not. I thought I had more life left than I did, but it's okay. All right, let's talk about forgiveness. People can say what they want to say, how they want to say it. But what it means after a certain point is they're trying to move on. Not always that they have, I guess. Because they're acknowledging that, or I would say that I am acknowledging sometimes the fact that, okay. You not technically have like you still haven't gotten over, because you can't just get over something, or like, oh yeah, 2-8. Okay, let me see here. Yay. There we go.
If you ain't using it.
I think most of the times when you actually do forgive someone, or say that you forgive someone, you're going through a process, and that process can't literally be put into words, because you just acknowledge that process is starting to rear its handsome, amazing, beautiful face, or her wonderful, amazing, beautiful, wonderful miss. I was talking about myself because I'm vain as shit, so it's whatever.
For fuck's sakes.
I really don't try to, if someone tells me to back off, I back off. If I know someone needs me to back off, I definitely back off. But also, if I know that someone needs to be able to save themselves, or be able to help themselves, I try to give them room to be able to be independent, because we can say that, oh, we're dependent and we're dependent upon each other, but it's like, yeah, to go to like functions and stuff, but as soon as you get a car, a bike, or any sort of mode of transportation, it takes, the only reason why we're technically dependent on each other is because we have an economy to run, and you know, we kind of set that up on our own, you know. So when you say that we're dependent, we're supposed to be dependent, I mean, it fuels our way of life, I guess, as far as not only individuals but also Americans, but because not a lot of people live like us, and or even with the names or the sake or the things that we live with. Like, nobody lives like us. But also too, in the same sense, like, say for instance, people's countries' deep dark stuff they don't want to talk about. Like, it's stopping sometimes even whole nations from becoming united sometimes. It goes into so much as far as forgiveness goes, and what people really realize, and what people need to realize, is that forgiveness as well goes through and goes to acknowledgement of a problem. It goes through that. Like, you literally acknowledge that. Like, that's one of the checklist parts about forgiveness, is acknowledging that there was a problem in the first place. God dang it, I almost got it. There was 3 dudes instead of 4. A lot of times I try to realize what I'm trying to talk about or what I'm trying to say, but also without divulging people. It kind of I kind of sit through what other people would call their acknowledgement or awakening as far as emotions go, and I don't say when is my time or something like that, but I say when will it end? When is there an amount of learning that you need to accomplish? When will you stop learning? When will people stop acknowledging facts and start going towards just opinion about where they get their things from, or their friends like news from? I don't see a lot of people talking about facts on YouTube, and except the people who are actually literally saying facts, like, hey, this fun fact, if this is this and this is this, then this happens. It's just like, yeah, that's a fact, but what about people? Like, is there any facts about those people that you know about? Well, I don't want to talk about names or anything like that, but in my own personal opinion, obviously, you're not gonna. And there's also so many people that are like not really shock jocks, but and inadvertently sometimes the people that I watch, they're able to be sucked into so much just because it's a high profile something. Like, it disappoints me sometimes. It makes me think that, like, is there something else that you're supposed to be doing? Isn't there something else that y'all are supposed to be doing instead of worried about, like, really, it's like, oh my god, that's the really messed up part, is why they didn't build on a team to be able to. No, I didn't pass all the missions, but I'm trying to eventually. I'm doing stupid shit right now, and I'm talking, but yeah, but it's like when you truly think about when you truly think about where you're going in life, like when a company has so much at stake, why talk about trivial things that you can't confirm? It's like saying, yeah, time is up. Like, it's like, but yeah, it's like everybody knew that already, you know? Like, we needed to know something different. Like, there were confirmed cases of women, like, and not to say that, because I think sometimes that people can agree all day. People can agree on something every single day of their life, and can agree every single step of the way. But when you start actually taking action, it's a lot harder to be able to control yourself and to be able to control the things that you really want to do. Like, it takes a lot more time to be able to. Damn it. Alright. It takes a lot more time to be able to fill in those blanks. To fill in what you think happened, and what someone says happened, and what actually happened, because people can make false memories. It's like, people know that they feel uncomfortable during a certain situation, like, but if a person isn't, that's the reason why I say you gotta prepare yourself emotionally sometimes. Because stuff can catch you blindsided, and if you're not ready for it, then people can walk all over you. Or they can say so many things about you that they can say whatever they want to say. But I've had people talk about me before, and I just laugh. I laugh because if they knew what I had been through before I went through them, before they started talking about me, then they wouldn't say those words. You know? If they knew what I saw or what I see, and sometimes a daily basis, and it has nothing to do with just like, ooh, gangs, people who group together because they think that they're stronger than when they are individually. That's very true, but when in actuality, what you're doing and what you're saying kind of, let's see if I can explode this thing. Alright. Let's see here. I need a rapid fire thing, so I'm gonna go with this one. And no, I didn't pass the missions, I'm sorry. There we go. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on. There we go. Come on. Come on. I wanna. There we go.
Citizens reporting
Yay.
a car on fire on Sonora Freeway.
I'm not saying anything about like the things that I'm doing on this because these are really not good ideas in real life, obviously. But I do like explosions. So like, yeah.
It's just a possession. Let it go. Now.
I think I think most of the time what people even try to do when they start to forgive, or when they start to, I guess, go through the process of forgetting a trauma or a betrayal, is
Bullshit.
they try to push they try to push through through a certain set of emotions.
Units reporting a reckless driver on
And those
Sonora
emotions
Freeway
can
in the Grande Sonora Desert.
those emotions can push people to the edge of a friendship sometimes, or to the moment that they are able to confide in someone, or even to the fact of just being friends at all. Like just being friends at one point. Okay, I forgot that the radio was off.
A reckless driver near Los Fuentes Blanca Ranch. Suspect southbound, south of Los Fuentes Blanca Ranch.
I try to think that I try to think that if I ever forgave something for what they did to me, that if I ever forgave someone,
Suspect is crashed.
Acknowledged.
then they would not try to do that again. And I just died. Awesome. Then they would not try to do that again. Like if I forgave someone for yelling or telling me their problems and if I forgave someone for telling me that I was worth nothing to them, then I'd expect it not to happen again. Then I'd expect that person to realize the acknowledgement that they did something wrong and I did something wrong. I did something wrong by saying I wasn't ready for this, and I told them that I wasn't ready for this. Because people can bear down on you sometimes with their emotions. And if people aren't going to acknowledge the fact that their psyches cause duress, or that they don't understand what they do, then the ability is going to be them basically wondering why something is happening to them when they did something terrible at that one time. Or they said, hey, that one kid's jumping off of a building, let's watch. Instead of helping him. Which is in the ways that you can make a human chain if that person stays up there for a very long time. And you can literally pull that person off. Not to say that you should, or not to say that you should risk your life. Because, I mean, it's so important, obviously.
Let's go!
But also in the same sense, people only see the depression that happens. It's like everyone, even people who were born during the 20s can remember the Great Depression, and they believe, and because of the fact that they didn't invest things in the note, and it has to do with a lot of wealthy, well-off people who decided that they were going to pump money through an economy and then stop pumping money through an economy. And that's the reason for all of our currency, and the reason why Fort Knox is basically that way. It's because through a series of bank transactions and bank robberies and bank everything, an entire group of people was just decidedly said what they wanted for a country. But understandably so, if they really wanted something for a country, then they want something for themselves. The more you influence someone or something, is the more that they'll see you. The more that they'll see you is the more times that they'll wrap their life around what you're saying or what you're doing. Is that what people live for sometimes? Is that really what people actually think is the true reason for life? Is to be looked at and seen? Because not a lot of people look at me. It's because I'm not that professional most of the time, and also that is because everything has a lot to do with the way that people influence people, the way that people influence things, the way that people are like, hey, there's a certain product that I brought to shelves, or there's a certain product that I brought to these people's attention, and that product itself made a basis for the thing that I do all the time. If that product was ever changed, my job would be forever changed. Oh, that sucks. And that in itself lies where true forgiveness comes from. It's when you see someone, or you see someone wearing something, that the last time you saw someone wearing that one thing, they were burning a car, or setting fire to something, or breaking something, or throwing a tear gas back at someone, shooting it at them. That in itself creates an influence. You have to say, where do I create my mark, and how do I acknowledge the fact?
You were supposed to meet me at the Vespucci Canal.
God damn it. How do I acknowledge the fact? And people are interrupting me on this thing because it's funny. It's funny, dude. When you start talking on this thing, the computer program actually acknowledges that you do it, and it starts to make it recognizes stuff, so so it tries to match up different things, like different sayings and stuff like that, while you're just walking down the street. It's really cool. But that has a lot to do with stuff. It has a lot to do with the way that people, like that's the reason why people thought that a world economy was going to be so close back in the day. They really did. People thought back in the 80s that the world economy, the world order, was literally imminent, and everyone was ready for it. And what's to stop another person from ruining that imminency? What's to stop someone from just saying, hey, I think that these people don't deserve peace?
Why? You bequeathed me this vehicle.
Someone always has an ulterior motive. Everyone who's in a business always has an ulterior motive. And that's the reason for separation of church and state and all those other different things too. The reasons is because there is always someone influencing a church who is influencing a person. That person will always make a choice in their life, how they make a choice, whether they make a choice, when they make a choice, because they heard someone say something that they really liked. When that person went out and did things and bought things, they bought a certain thing because they had a certain subset of words or thoughts or emotions wrapped up inside of themselves, because the way that they heard something, the way that they felt something, is the way that they'll buy something, the way that they'll do something. It's basic math. It's not statistics. It's basic math. It's saying one causation, or not. It's kind of science, I guess, but it's not really science. It's basic math. One causation can start a hayball effect, basically. Not like what you would think a snowball effect would happen. It's just like, oh, all these things are happening at once, and no, it's a hayball effect. When a strong gust comes around and moves that hayball around, or hay bale, basically, around, it's a hay bale effect. Moves that hay bale around, it starts to throw pieces everywhere. The ground itself is affected because with hay over regular grass. Oh yeah, broke dance on the fence. Nah. With that hay ball throwing everything about and basically moving stuff, and as it moves, it creates a pattern. And the wind itself, or not the wind, but the water itself, as it rains, is like. It's like everything bleeds into everything, basically. I'm not trying to make a huge paragraph about it, but that's basically what it means. It means that everything affects everything, and the hay bale has a lot to do with the way that the ground is growing because of the way that the water hits it, and I don't know. It's just, there's a lot of shit that goes into a product that you buy, basically. There's people out there that take statistics and see what people like. What's their favorite color? What's their favorite thing? What do they like to do with their spare time? Would they rather be listening to a Pink Floyd album, or would they rather be listening to a Dead Mouse album? You know, like all that other stuff, all that different stuff. What they would be doing, how they would be doing it, and then people say that, well, you know what, I'm gonna make this thing because there's something that I want to make and that I want to do, and I'm gonna go out there and start doing things. And as they do things, they're like, wow, I'm doing things a lot. So when I do these things, I'm gaining experience. So once I'm gaining experience, it's like I'm a different person. So once they realize that they're a different person, they start acting differently. And their goals and orientations and things that they really wanted to do with themselves, they start to change. And they start to evolve, I guess. But within the actual thing that they thought was really good, or really I guess helpful to them, is realizing that their goals was something that needed to be etched into. Like, they etched into themselves when they changed that. When they started to change themselves and started to change and see what the world had for them. But then when they started, when they left off, when they started out, they were doing stuff. When they did stuff, they realized that that stuff changed them. And when that stuff changed them, they started to change and evolve and move as a person. But what they didn't realize is they were enjoying things kind of haphazardly or half-heartedly. They were more focused on what they were doing, but rather than what they were consuming. Okay? And as you focus and realize and change, you realize that the more you consume, the more you can produce. We all get inspired by things that we've seen millions and millions of times over, in things that constantly and utterly change and divide us. And when those things constantly change and divide us, we see... I just farted, yeah. When those things constantly change and divide us, we start to try to want to get back at each other, because we thought that we always would be together, because we are one. We're one nation. We're one thing. It's like, no. We're individual states that have become a union because of the amount of hardships that we went through as a nation, and decided that those things were not to be messed with, or people were not to be messed with, or things, making amendments and arbitrations and things like that, because sometimes people don't want to be a part of something. No matter how hard you try, no matter how hard you want something to happen, things don't happen, and then you're like left up to like, wow, this is the only idea I ever had, and I'm gonna shoot this guy. It's gonna be really cool. There we go. But understanding that if you can't give your opinion away for free, or realize that your opinion is worth something, you'll also realize that the reasons why it's worth something and worth so much is because of you. If you owned a bunch of things, if you owned a bunch of businesses per se, and those businesses, it's as sold products. If you sold a product that business was like, wow, put it on the that dude just said some golden shit, put it on the front of my Wheaties box. That dude just said some amazing stuff, some stuff that will always be heard throughout the entire world. Put it on a Wheaties box.
Lucky miss.
The dude just said that the most amazing thing I had ever heard of. Put it on Tide little scrunchy ball things that you put in the wash, and then they just disintegrate and they start cleaning your laundry. It's amazing. Sorry, I wasn't. There are so many things that we, as people, to forgive people for, or forgive people for doing to us, or by us, or away and away from us, in a way around us, or any sort of indirect or direct contact of someone or something. Realize that people experience art in their own forms and in their own ways. And when art itself is divided into a certain number of feelings or emotions, people start to get those emotions with something, and then they start to realize or think that the world is beautiful in a certain way because of the way that they're experiencing it. But once that's taken away, or once that's given a face and then changed forever, people start to doubt themselves. Like, even I have just doubted myself at some points. I doubted myself a lot, a whole bunch. I doubted myself before I ever had confidence in myself at all, and I'm still an introvert to this day. But it doesn't mean that I can't talk, you know, and that I can't have a conversation. And sometimes people just don't want a conversation, and they want to know what you're doing and how you're doing it and the way you're doing it, so they can copy it or say something or do something. And that's cool. That's fine. People can do stuff, and what they want to do is up to them. It's a free country, to me, at least. And I'm going back into what I saw, I guess, from like all that other stuff from on the internet, as far as what realize that we're all manipulated constantly. And as soon as somebody gets the power to be able to manipulate someone, or as soon as they see what this has been doing and how they've been doing it, the way they've been doing it, they try to manipulate someone in a way that will change them forever. But in a way, won't who they are, but will change how they react to that person the rest of their life. Ow. Dang it. Didn't hurt. I think most times what people are actually trying to do, and what people are actually trying to make, is, I'd say, it's something they feel proud of. It's some pattern they feel accomplished about. But holding on to that pattern, not realizing that it was the pattern that your mom used, it was the pattern that your dad used, it was the pattern that your friends used, or that your significant other used, and I really don't need you to have that. It's not a good thing. I would actually get it, but there's not a lot of good jumps for golf carts around here, so I'm not gonna get it. There. And yes, like right now, in this very given moment, the Chicken Attack song is running through my head because I just recently listened to it. And I don't even like something about it makes me, I don't even like the voice that he's like if I heard that man talking or something like that, I wouldn't know exactly how he, that tone of voice to me is kind of it's like, I tried to learn how to yodel. I tried to, and it sucks. I can't do it. I tried to. That's like, and I don't think that, like people think that media sometimes consumes you, but it's not like, it's like you can't do that all the time. Understand that media consumes you, and that's the end of it. It's just like, no. Media is consumable. It's always been there. It always will be. It's literally ingrained into our society now. And I'm trying to stay up on the beam as much as I can. Come on, beam, 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 beam. Yep. Wait. Alright. It really is. It's ingrained into our society, and I think people have the problem, like the Amish people as well. They didn't want to acknowledge. I think that a big part of their society was changing. I think that's basically at their core beliefs and values, and they have the right and the choice to be able to believe and think what they want to. Basically down to a T, I think. A lot of people don't really believe that that it's hard to be able to do stuff, or that it's easy to be able to do stuff like that, but like to constantly not be able to be connected to something, or look at news on your phone or anything like that, because technically everything is news, I guess. Like, people can say that, oh, that's not news, but yeah, come on, it's like, it's your personal opinion, dude. Someone else might think that that is extremely pertinent and well thought out. You know? And I'm doing fun stuff right now. That's all I'm doing. Oh, man. Fun stuff.
The apex predator in action.
Granted, I can't say sometimes that I understand people or what they do. I'm really like, I'm stuck on the fact that there's a whole bunch of people that have problems and they want to say them, like, hello? Oh, hey, Twinings, how you doing? This is, Joseph. I'm with, hold on one second. Watching, so no one was watching, so I'm at 44 minutes. Forgiveness is real, but also realizing that that you have to forgive yourself too, to be able to realize certain things, to realize certain certain points in your life, and certain things that you really have to just move on sometimes. And no matter what, no matter how, it's not going to change you as a person to move on something. It's not going to change what you think. It's not going to make you smell anything any differently. You're probably going to get more oxygen to your brain because you'll be breathing more, because you'll stop thinking about all that stupid bullshit. That's it. That's all that happens. There's just less things to think about other than breathing. But you have to understand that the nuances of what you do with yourself and how you do it with yourself, they can change you as a person over time. And what you have to realize is that yes, that was completely. Oh my god. Shit. The nuances of the way that people change themselves and the way that people do things with themselves, like they try to change themselves for the better, or they try to change themselves to be able to make sure that the bullshit isn't getting to them. Because you can say what you want to say and how you want to say it, but it's not going to change the fact that person is going to continue on existing, and you're desperately clawing for control in your own life. And I can say whatever I can say, however I can say it, whatever I want to say, all the time. But it's not going to change the fact that people sometimes just don't like me. That people themselves sometimes just don't really see eye to eye with me. And that's going to be what it's going to be. And I'm going to turn this off because I don't feel like listening to that shit. I'm gonna have to lose these guys. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Oh yeah, boy! Oh, that's awesome. I hear it all the time. I really do. And I shouldn't, because it's not something I feel like hearing all the time. It's not that I'm a bad person or anything like that. I want people to be able to have their problems with their problems. And people think that they have to say their problems out loud all the time. It's like, it's not going to change it. It's going to change the way you hear it in your mind. It might throw some sort of like thing against it, or throw some sort of thing toward it. You might push yourself into believing that
I ain't got time for your crap.
but realize that realize that there are nuances that you'll never touch on, that you'll never have, if you don't realize that there are certain things that people themselves don't understand. And I gotta get rid of these cops. Gotta stop these cops, man. Copping.
Not now.
Cop. Keep the cops goofy. Making sure that you make time for yourself is the biggest thing ever. When you go home at night, try to relax. Try to take a break. Try to say, hey, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take all those things, I'm gonna take all that stuff that I thought about today, and I'm gonna put it in a little cubby hole, in a little a little filing cabinet or whatever you want to call it in your mind, and just be like, I'm gonna make sure that I sort that later because that deserves sorting, because that's a big part of my life. That's the reason why. And people are gonna understand and realize that they're gonna start thinking more clearly. And they're not gonna be worried about what that dude's doing, because they're gonna know that they don't have to think like that. And or people will just have a snowball effect and constantly criticize their government and say that, oh my God, there's terrible things going on. It's the government's fault. Is it really? I mean, it's the government for the people by the people, supposedly. Supposedly, I think, because I understand. So it's like, it's really hard to say that like that you're for or against like, I don't know, man. It's just so much stuff that you need to realize and need to understand that.
Don't annoy me.
Suspect southbound east of the court center.
I think that most people really need to understand that there's a oh my God. But yeah, I'm at 51 minutes. I'm gonna probably head off after this, but realize there's more to life than just that next dude, or that next person, or the next person that's gonna hurt you or hurt your friends or anything like that. Realize that eventually there's not gonna be anyone left, and when there's no one left, are you gonna start talking to yourself? When there's no one left, will you still talk to be able to remember how? When the silence breaks even your own eardrums, when you can't even understand the velocity of your own head going through space and calculate the amount of what it takes to be able to realize that you're you. And more in just simplistic terms. And not to say that's, oh my God, people are going to talk around me, so I'm going to constantly say the stuff that they say. It's like, whatever, dude. You know, it's not always the stuff that's really pertinent. But the pertinent stuff that people keep in the back of their mind sometimes is this stuff or is influenced by the stuff that they say completely freely, openly. Or even in joking stuff, and that's sometimes the reasons why I unfollow people. Sometimes the reasons why I don't see people for who they are sometimes, because I don't know them. I don't know that person specifically. I don't know what that person does to do the things that they do. I know that the way that they're doing it sometimes is the way that I like. Like I said, I don't want to meet my heroes. I just want them to be, what's the word? And yes, I am walking around in circles right now, because it's literally what we're doing. Waiting for some sort of thing to fall and hit us, and then and that's also the reason why I'm in America as well, because
Wow! I've trod in shit with
Dang
more
it.
brains.
Oh man. All right. But yeah, they can show you realize that there are so many things at play whenever you're actually doing something that's pertinent or good. Be what you want to be. And realize that it takes time to be able to relax. It takes time for people to be able to just unwind and be able to realize that they themselves, they're not into so much shit that they think they are. The most I really can say, at all is the best is always over the horizon. I know, not what do you do to be able to prepare for the horizon, because the horizon's coming for you no matter what. Because you're at it. We are always at the event horizon. People can say that, like, oh, there's no symbolism in gore, but you have to understand that there is so much symbolism in thrillers and things like that, because it's the symbolism is the stuff that you're not actually seeing, it's the stuff that you're experiencing, and the themes that you're experiencing. And the real thing is, it's like everything's happening so pertinently and so specifically sometimes that you start to get paranoid about what is life, or what is in life, or what is around us at all times. And then you start to think that you don't have control over those things. And then something happens and you're like, wow, I could have never really, predicted that. And no, you really could have, if you stopped worrying about every single little instance that wasn't happening to you at that time. It's the fact of, hey, that tree over there, I'm riding my bike. If I focus on that tree, I'm going to go further towards that tree. And yes, I did watch Frasier. Because Frasier is actually a good, somewhat, kind of, a little bit, sort of thing that I watched. But it was only because I watched it, because I liked his style. Not his mannerisms, but his style. The things that he did, like things that he did with his clothes, and the kind of stuff that he liked. I'm more of like whenever I'm seeing something, I'll see something for cosmetic value. I don't say, hey, there's so much that could be looking in through this looking glass, and it's like maybe I don't think people are investing as much time into what they know as much as they think, I guess. What they think is oh my gosh. I went really, really fast. I think people are investing as much time as they want to in something. And then that and the rest they're making up, because they're trying to come up with a story in their own head as well. Every content consumer wants to be a content creator. And that's probably the thing that I like the most about YouTube. Because also, let's face it, the only reason why people are actually getting on this constant thing, or this constant usage of saying like, oh, YouTube did this and I didn't like it. So this whole this whole bandwagon of like, hey, there's just so much wrong with something that I like. If you're gonna make a video about something you don't like, list 5 or 6 things about the stuff that you do like about it. Or else you're just making a video about how you hate something. And that either stops views or keeps views going. I don't know exactly which one, because it really didn't matter for Logan Paul or any of those people, or PewDiePie. PewDiePie still had all the views that he wanted, or all the views that he really felt like having. He has all the notoriety still, and people are still liking his stuff and liking the stuff that he does. It's just, I think that what people don't understand, really, I guess, in the true, yeah, god dang it, in the true sense of a word, is that, and I'm at an hour and 1 minute, so I'm ending it right now, because I talked about enough, I think. But just realize that the stuff you start out with changes you. And as it changes you, you start to realize the grind itself is changing you. And once you realize the grind itself is changing you, you try to get more people to do the grind for you, and then you reap the benefits. It's a pyramid scheme. It really is. Life is a pyramid scheme. And if you do something, and people like you to do that stuff, they want you to do it for as cheaply as possible. Not to say that they won't respect you for doing it as cheaply as possible. And if you try to do it as an expensive thing right out the bat, people are going to shun you, because that's the way that business works. It's the way that people don't understand, is that that's what happens. People get shunned. If you're afraid of criticism, then you'll never be afraid to grow once your business starts taking off the way that it's supposed to. If you can't take pressure or people yelling at you, like for like what it seemed, not yelling, but like, or people just like trying to say something, but all they're saying is nothing, because they're afraid that you don't have what it takes to be able to make it, because they don't feel as though they're ready, so why would you be? There's always something. There's always someone's ego or something that gets in the way of people having a great and wonderful time with themselves, or with another person that they feel as though is the right person for them. What you have to realize, what you have to understand, is that there are certain aspects of... Well, I gotta do this. Hold on one second. There we go. God dang it. Got it. The more you start building on what you know, the more you start building on something that you really know, or the more you start understanding that the stuff that you see every day, sometimes people want to see as well. That's the reason why Instagram does so well. It's the reason why Instagram does so well. It's because people want to see stuff that they haven't seen in a very long time. It's the reason why. Like, it's the reason why Twitter does so well, because people want to hear stuff that they haven't heard in either a long time or ever. And bank. There we go. I'm doing sniper suicides. That doesn't sound right. It sounds terrible because it has the word suicide and also snipers. And also, I played football, and that's the reason why I said suicides, because you basically can't breathe after a certain number of them. You run back and forth and stuff like that. Or back and forths. I don't know. They don't sound cool when you sound it when it's back and forth. Back and forths, because back and forth insinuates that you're that you're gonna live, and football makes you die. Oh, well, there we go. Shut up. Music only inspires me when I'm working or drawing or doing something productive.
Whoa!
This isn't really that productive. I'm doing aimlessly driving a motorcycle, but yeah, you are your own one-man bomb squad, metaphorically speaking, and you can defuse situations before they happen, and all it takes is getting to know yourself and realizing that you deserve a better tomorrow. God damn it! Realizing that you deserve a better tomorrow, or a tomorrow at all. I don't hear people say stupid stuff, really. I hear them say things about their lives in front of me, and they just think they can get on the inside sometimes. It's not annoying, because everybody wants to be seen, you know? But understandably so. Will they be seen through me? Probably not. People have to start putting themselves out there, and the more that they don't, the more they'll be fading out into not black, not white, but the fog. The fog of life. The fog that you think builds you up and makes you a better person, when in actuality it's just breaking you down. It's fog. Realize that you yourself don't have any problems as far as things go. But what you really need to understand is that there is always something out there, and there's always something out there for you to get into that doesn't involve fucked up people. And I'm not saying like fucked up people, like, oh my god, the dude looks like a person that I think about inside my own head. That's an observation, but moreover, thinking about what you really want to do with yourself, what you're gonna want to do with yourself, to realize that if we all were a part of some government organization somehow, and people were just disappearing, and we were the only reasons why. Alright, I gotta go, but enjoy yourselves and have a good day, and I'm ranting and raving and having fun. You have a good day. Hey, what's up? What's up? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll get it done. Alright. Okay. Alright. I'll be downstairs in a minute. Yes, sir.